Colorado, at a depth of 400 feet, they found human bones embedded in a silver vein. Also, a copper arrowhead was found. Reported in 1868 was the discovery of a slate wall by James Parsons and his two sons. They found the wall when a great mass of coal had fallen away and exposed it in the coal mine that they were working in at Hammondville, Ohio. On its surface was carved several lines of hieroglyphs. The Los Angeles News of December 17, 1869 reported the discovery of a slate wall with strange writing on it. The slate wall was discovered in a coal mine at a depth of 100 feet. In August of 1870, at the town of Lawn Ridge, 20 miles north of Peoria, Illinois. In August of that year, a well was being drilled, and the pump brought up a medallion. This medallion or coin was made of copper alloy. It was about the size of a U.S. quarter. Researcher William E. Dubois presented his investigation of the medallion to the American Philosophical Society, where he asserted his belief that the artifact had been machined, and both sides had artwork and hieroglyphs, which had been etched with acid. The intricate design showed a woman wearing a crown or headdress and her left arm raised, and her right arm held a small child, who was also crowned. The woman appeared to be speaking, and on the other side of the coin is a crouching animal with long pointed ears, large eyes and mouth, claw-like arms, and a long frayed tail. Below and to the left is what looks like a horse, and both sides had glyphs or writing on it. In 1877, near Eureka, Nevada, prospectors found a human leg bone, and kneecap sticking out of solid rock. Examination of the bones revealed the height of the subject to be 12 feet long. In 1880, workmen drilling a well near Marlboro in Stark County, Ohio, discovered a doll-like figure made of marble standing 6 inches tall at a depth of 120 feet. In 1882, near Carson City, Nevada, a layer of sandstone was uncovered that had fossilized animal tracks. The tracks were of woolly mammoths, but that wasn't the only tracks. Human footprints were also embedded into the sandstone. In 1884, fossilized human footprints were discovered in a rock quarry near Managua, Nicaragua, 16 to 24 feet below the ground. 1885 saw the periodical The American Antiquarian reported find near the town of Beera, Kentucky, fossilized impressions of animals, and 2 human footprints were uncovered. Later in 1930, geologists would discover 12 9.5-inch human tracks and portions of others in the gray sandstone. One track had a heel-to-heel measurement of 18 inches. The American Antiquarian also reported the finding of another fossilized human footprints, and with these they also found impressions of what appeared to be a scroll or a roll of parchment. The existence of these impressions or footprints and objects in the sandstone could only have been made when the sandstone was in a plastic or non-stone-like state, and it was later covered and hardened over time. In 1885, a clay doll was brought up by a drill 320 feet below the ground. The doll was made from quartz and clay. Although it was damaged, you could still see its features: a round head with a mouth and eyes, broad shoulders, thick short arms, long legs, and geometric patterns, which had represented its clothing or jewelry. On June 11, 1891, the Morrison Times in Illinois reported the story of Miss S. W. Culp, who, upon breaking open a piece of coal for later use, found a small gold chain 10 inches long. The gold chain was described as antique and of quaint workmanship. Also in 1891, near Cleveland, Tennessee, a section of wall was discovered that was 2 feet thick and 8 feet high, with projections spaced every 25 to 30 feet. The wall was made from red sandstone blocks cemented together with dark red clay. They traced the wall beyond the exposed portion, and it ran for 1,000 feet. It followed the crest of a ridge that extends from the Hiwassee River, and, and part of the wall dips into the Tennessee River. The wall has hieroglyphs of an unknown language on it, and the letters were arranged in a wavy, parallel, diagonal lines. It also has pictures of animals, many unidentified. Also, it had symbols of the sun and crescent moon. In all, it had 872 individual uh, letter characters, that were discovered. In 1896, a report from the American anthropologist tells the finding of a perfect human footprint near Parkersburg, West Virginia. The footprint was 14.5 feet long. The April 2nd, 1897 edition of the Daily News of Omaha, Nebraska had an article of a carved stone buried in a mine. The article tells the account of a miner finding a dark gray stone 130 feet below the ground in the Lehigh coal mine. The stone, which was 2 feet long and 1 foot wide and 4 inches thick, had diamond shapes on it, and these diamonds were the face of an old man with a peculiar indentation on his forehead. The indentation appears on all of the faces and face images. All but 2 of the images of the face were looking to the right. It's just interesting to note, could this image that was on the stone carvings represent Cain, who was marked by God after he murdered his brother Abel? Possibly, but if this is a pre-flood inscription, but the indentation could represent a common marking or jewelry of the times it was made. 1908 saw the discovery of one of the best documented proofs of men and dinosaurs living together at the same time in history. Near Glen Rose, Texas, on the banks of the Paluxy River, flooding had revealed tracks in limestone on the edges of the river. The initial tracks found were of dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus rex and Brontosaurus. They also discovered other three-toed dinosaur tracks and tracks of a saber-toothed tiger, which, according to modern theory, should not have existed with dinosaurs. Then they found tracks of men crisscrossing the dinosaur tracks. One group of tracks measured between 7 and 13 inches, which would be a normal human-sized footprints. Also found were smaller child-sized prints, but there was a second group of tracks that measured between 16 and 21 inches, and they had a 7-foot stride. These prints belonged to giants, as mentioned in the Bible before and after the flood. Over time, most of the tracks have eroded, but a few have been saved by creationist researchers for study. No formal scientific study has ever gone to the site, yet that doesn't dissuade them from declaring the footprints of human footprints of men fake. The existence of these prints totally destroys their theories of evolution and Darwinism, so they ignore it. The old show In Search of with Leonard Nimoy showed some of the finds from this site. It also had a great interview with the creationist researchers and some secular scientists who were debating the evidence found. In Arkansas in 1921, near the town of Fitch, a 4-inch sculpture of a man was found at a